What's up, Facebook? How are you doing today? So it is Blue Friday. Go Hawks. We got a cool little talk about. He's gonna make it real quick today. It's my dad's birthday. We're gonna go out and celebrate after this. I'm really excited. So this talk, it's my dad's birthday. I want to make this really out to the parents. Okay? So this talk is more to parents than anyone else. It's about youth specialization. Okay? So right now there's this big desire for coaches, for parents to force not even force, but to put their kids on this Tiger Woods track, right? They see Tiger Woods, how he was successful, played one sport, his dad pushed him super hard into playing that sport, and he was successful. It works. The model works, it's perfect, yada, yada, yada. Same with the Williams sisters, another classic example that people love to use. They only play tennis. Their parents forced them in tennis, and they're the best, they're two best in the world, right? Yada, yada, yada. It works. No, it doesn't work. Right? We're talking about not the rule. We're talking about the exception to the rule, not the rule itself. I strongly believe that kids shouldn't specialize. All the science goes against it. We'll go through it in a little bit here, but it's just one of the worst ways we can wreck a kid's athletic development, right? Before we get into some of the studies and some of the research that with it, let's talk first why we put kids in sports. Why? We put kids in sports to learn, to work as a team, to learn how to push themselves and learn the mental fortitude. We don't, some parents, yes, we want our kids to be successful. We want our kids to go be better. We want our kids to learn, but it's about learning, it's about fun, and it's about development. We can't take that from youth sports. And when I'm talking about youth sports, I'm talking all the way up to high school, right? These kids are still developing. They're not where they need to be yet. So let's go into some of these studies. First, let's talk about injuries, right? One of the best ways we can avoid injuries in general is have our kids play multiple sports. There was a study done by the University of Wisconsin. Okay, so they saw that youth athletes that specialized were twice as likely than those who played a single sport to have a lower extremity injury. When we look at our lower extremity injuries, we're talking, pretty bad ankle sprains, knee, ACLs, all that, muscles. And so let's say, best case scenario, kids out for 6 weeks. That's 6 weeks of key development as a youth athlete that they're missing out. The youth season's typically only 3 months, less than 3 months. So if they miss 6 weeks due to one injury because they were playing select and then going to their club team, that's a long amount of time. Here's another one. So 60% of athletes who specialize in one singular sport sustain new lower body injuries. So this is an interesting take on, it's the same study that released these, an interesting take on it, So we're not even talking just, you injure your ankle so many times, what's gonna happen next? Your hip, your knee, right? We're just gonna work up the chain at that point. Also, when we look at sports, let's think about baseball. What's the one motion? Here and here. We have a kid that's playing only baseball from 3, 4 years old, all the way till they're 18, 19. Can they rotate to the right? Can they throw a ball with their left hand? Can they juke to the right? These are questions we need to ask. We want to think of a kid's long-term longevity as a person before we even talk about them as an athlete. Right? Human development is way more important. That's one of the reasons why we put kids in sports, for human development, not just to push this specialization model. So, why people think that this specialization is key is because they want their kids to be successful at a younger age, right? So if some is good, is more better. If some is good with youth sports, playing a single sport, so they practice 2 hours a day. My kid needs to practice 4 or 5 hours a day. No, that is not how this works. Kids need to play kids. Kids, I'll say this all day long, kids are not mini adults. How kids can be successful is the exact opposite of how adults can be successful. Adults, they thrive off long hours, hard work, discipline. Well, how kids can be successful, especially in sport, is the exact opposite. They need fun. They need to play. They need time to think and be creative with it. They need to be able to shut one idea down and go play the other. That's how we can actually have our kids thrive and be the most successful through. Another reason we go back is, kids are resilient. He gets hurt and he comes back, he bounces back, he'll be all right. Well, again, we're putting them in this model of more. Well, if he's resilient to this time, what's going to happen the next time he's down on the ground, right? It's the same patterns in sports over and over, and the same injuries, and we're not helping our kids at one point. We're actually hurting them. Again, so now let's think, how do we want to make our kids successful in sport? How do we do that? 88% of college athletes played multiple sports as a kid. When we think of our goal, I want my kid to be an NFL kid. That, first off, that's a whole another bag of worms to get into. I want my kid. Does the kid want it? Are they happy with playing that sport? You can get me fired up right here. That's not gonna fly. But if a kid wants to play sports in college, how will they most successfully get to that rate? If 88% of kids that are playing college sports play multiple sports, that's probably a great pattern, a great thing for them to do. Another thing to look at. Sports, yes, there's different demands on the body between football, basketball, lacrosse, wrestling, but we can teach our kids more about sport, right? Just because a kid has a high basketball IQ, now you put him on a football field. How is his football IQ? How is his sport IQ? When we look at basketball, hockey, lacrosse, there's a lot of the same patterns we can teach kids to be successful. My basketball player or my lacrosse players, I want them to go play basketball. I want them playing hockey. Why? Yes, they miss some practices. That's all right. When they come back to me for lacrosse practice, they're ready. They're more excited to play because they haven't been playing lacrosse all year round. They're more excited. They've learning these concepts in hockey and now can apply them to our lacrosse field, right? I have examples. I have a couple athletes, right, that do play multiple sports. Yes, it sucks losing some of your best players on a field, right, to another sport. At the time it sucks, oh well, get over it. Because when they come back to me, they're fired up and they score goals. They are very good at what they do. Not because we're forcing them into this funnel of one way to be successful, but because we're giving them options. This whole, my message really is we need to switch this from this elite model of youth development, forcing them into one thing and let them be kids. We need to think about long-term development. We need to think about their longevity as an athlete, their longevity as a person, right? Kids get burnt out too. Burnout is not just limited to adults. Burnout comes to our kids as well, right? So if we have a kid that, being a lacrosse coach, right? If I have a kid that's playing lacrosse all year round and he's not excited to play for me anymore, there's an issue here. He was excited last season. What happened? My coaching didn't change from last season this season. He just played so much. He needs to go out, be with his friends. Might need to lift some weights, play basketball outside, learn from all these other sports. And here's the biggest thing I've noticed, right? Kids' confidence goes up. They learn how to be a team player when they play multiple sports. They might be that star athlete on my lacrosse team, but they ride the bench in basketball. You know what? I love that. I love that they're riding the bench in different sports. You can't be the star all the time. When you're riding up here all day, you don't know how to treat those teammates, right? You need to learn what it's like to be the guy carrying the clipboard and following around coach trying to get playing time. Because now you're going to give a whole new respect to those teammates that they might not be as good as you, right? Oh, get them away. No, these kids need to learn how to be a good person first at the end of the day. So, is it wise to specialize? No, not at all, right? The kid wants to, that's different, but they shouldn't be playing sports all year round. They should be, we run some awesome middle school and high school programs here at Decatur. Come check us out, right? If you're living in the area. If not, there's some other local gyms I'd love to get you set up with. I know a couple different gyms across the country, and I'd love to help you out there. So let's think about our kids and how we can put them in spots to be great, right? Instead of forcing it on them. Hope you all have a great night. Go Hawks, they're playing Sunday. If you want some more content, some fire content like this, check me out on Instagram, harder.performance, posting stuff all day. So come check it out. Lots of good mobility flows, exercises, workouts even. I posted a whole new workout today, so check it out. Love to see you there. Have a great night, Facebook. See ya.